Welcome to Between the Lines, the Five Towns Jewish Times podcast, where newsmakers unpack the stories shaping the Jewish community.
Hi, everyone. It's Larry Gordon. This is Between the Lines, the electronic version of the Five Towns Jewish Times. I'm here with my wife, Esta Gordon, and coming to us from Israel is a good friend, Yehuda Honickman. And this, of course, was seen for eternity on social media, but Yehuda wrote a letter to Prime Minister Netanyahu, which is being published in this week's paper. We're recording this on Wednesday, March 18th, so the paper's coming out the next day or so.
Tonight, tomorrow morning.
Right. So whenever you see this, we are referring to something that happened in the past. Yehuda, it's nice to see you. Nice to hear from you again. Tell me about the gist of the letter and the urgency of what you're trying to communicate to the Prime Minister.
Yeah, first of all, it's great to see you guys as well. I think the last time I saw both of you together might have been at a barbecue that we did.
An amazing barbecue, Hanukkah time. Right.
Yes, Hanukkah,
Right.
a bunch of soldiers, Baruch Hashem. Probably the last time I saw both of you together. So great to see both of you.
Right, thank you.
The letter really came from a place of me writing my feelings, my thoughts, my desires, my emotions for this war. And then as I was writing it, I kind of said, this should be channeled somewhere. And, who best to hear this type of letter from someone, again, who grew up in New York, now lives in the Judean hills in Tekoa. And that would be Prime Minister Netanyahu. And the gist of the letter is, I mean, to me, there's one line in the letter that really summarizes the whole thing, where it says, if you don't finish this, we are not going to be the last generation that deals with this. We're just going to be the latest. And it's been so many years of different prime ministers, different presidents on both sides of the spectrum, some making it worse, some trying to make it better. And we're finally here at the tip of this spear, you can say, chopping the heads off of these maniacs that have been funding terror around the world, around Israel, surrounding us on all of our borders. And we just need the courage to go all the way and to end it and to finish it for our children.
All right, it's an interesting point, and it's something I raised recently in an editorial in the newspaper, Yehuda, and that is the agenda of just not just, I'm not saying the agenda of President Trump. I think he's Yotzei min haklal, I think, to an extent. But maybe some people in his administration are not like that. But prior administrations never wanted Israel to finish a war or a battle they were in, whether it was with Lebanon or with the Palestinians or whoever it was. They always want them to fight to a draw. Can you imagine? I always tell my kids, can you imagine you go to a Knicks game at the Garden
and it's a tie,
and you're hoping for the game to finish 111 to 111.
Yeah,
no, that's what we want to achieve.
Let's leave now.
That's
game over. Everyone up and out.
That's not what you root for at a game. Nope. Someone needs to win, and that's the gist of what you're saying.
Only because America has been fighting wars exactly that way. They never finish it.
The United Nations calls it, what they call it? They call it, it's like an extraordinary type of force. There's a name for it. What do they call it? It's an inordinate amount of force, or it's overwhelming force. It'll come to me what they call it. But they basically want Israel to fight to a draw. And this is the resistance that the President Trump is meeting now from within his own administration, perhaps even his vice president, not his Secretary of State, but perhaps his vice president, not his war minister, not his war minister, not Hegseth and not Rubio.
No,
but They don't want Israel to fight with overwhelming force or America to fight with overwhelming force. They prefer that they fight to a draw. Now, you live there. You have small children. You're getting woken up all hours of the night to go into the shelters or the safe rooms. How ideally, as a resident of Israel, how do you see it coming to a conclusion?
Look, like we said, we can't let anything hold us back this time, right? We can't go into this battle with our hands tied behind our back. To some extent, we did that after October 7th, only to a certain point, only until this, only for getting our hostages back, and that's not the answer. The answer was all the way or nothing, and here we are at the end of it, right? If we go back into biblical times, into the Tanakh, we had the same issue, and I addressed this in the letter as well, with Shaul and Amalek. Shaul was told to wipe out the entire Amalek, destroy all of them, animal, men, woman, child.
Right.
Right.
Shaul
And
decided to. Shaul decided.
Even Tucker Carlson knows what Amalek is now.
Correct. Shaul decided to do exactly that, with an exception. He saved the king. He saved Agag, Melech
And
Amalek,
therefore lies the problem.
and he saved the sheep. When he realized the mistake that he made, which was the next day, he said, Shmuel Navi came to him and said, you denied Hashem as king, and now Hashem's denying you as king. And he said, oh my God, what did I do? And he went to kill Agag, but it was too late because Agag had already impregnated someone. From that came Haman. From Haman, here we are today. So either we repeat literally the same mistakes of our ancestors. I'm not even talking about, recent ancestors. I'm talking about way, 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 way back. Or we do it finally for our children and grandchildren.
Okay, so where are we at right now? We don't know what's going to happen by the time this will get posted in the next day or two, and people are going to see it next week and the week after and the month after, and hopefully there'll be a conclusion that we want to this, which means what? Which means, dealing with Hezbollah in Lebanon. The ground forces are going in as we speak.
You don't hear Houthis anymore.
As we speak today. What happens with Iran? The president here says that they don't even know who to deal with anymore because everybody that they thought they could deal with is dead.
He said that, but there keeps being people that they're knocking off their list. Meaning, Bibi and Huckabee had that comedic video yesterday where Bibi pulled out his punch card of people he wants to hit. That list still exists. So that list needs to be eradicated, and anyone else who stands a threat to Israel and to America. If someone is still willing to stand up in Iran and scream death to Israel, death to America, it needs to be death to them. Period.
Okay, so where is the where's the Iranian people? The President Trump keeps calling for them to now
the uprising
to rise up and overthrow the government. There's 90 million people in Iran. Where is that uprising?
I don't know. Thank God I don't live in Iran. I live in the Judean hills, in the hills of where my ancestors lived, where David HaMelech wrote Tehillim. So I don't know where the Iranian people are personally. I would imagine that to an extent they're scared, to an extent they don't know what to do or how to actually do this. Meaning there needs to be a leader on the ground who says, okay, guys, this is what this guy is saying. This is what Israel is saying. This is what we need to do. March forward. You have Reza Pahlavi. He's not there, though, right? Who is going to be on the ground to kind of bring all these people together and do something? I don't know if they have that unifying force there currently.
Well, there's opposition here to no one wants American ground forces to go in. That's a very, sensitive issue between Democrats and Republicans. Unfortunately,
it's a sensitive issue between Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah. Unfortunately, seven soldiers lost their lives. I think 6 of them in a plane crash of a refueling machine. I think not 7. I think 13 lost their lives. 6 in a refueling plane, and the others through I think bombing at a base in either Qatar or Kuwait or somewhere along those lines. So there's a great sensitivity here to what they call boots on the ground, American boots on the ground, and there's this. The great tug-of-war between the Democrats and the Republicans is why are we doing this? America, like the guy who resigned, Joe Kent, he resigned from one of the departments that was involved in the war.
Under
he said
Tulsi
there was no imminent danger. America is no imminent danger, And I was thinking last night until Hamas people came across the border on October 7th, 2023. And started killing Israelis, there was no imminent danger.
That's exactly what I was going to say. When you recognize imminent danger, it's too late.
It's too late.
It's too late.
Late at that point. Imminent danger to me is when for 50 years someone is screaming death to America and working towards that goal, whether it's achievable or not. If you're working towards that goal, if that is your life mission, bye-bye.
So the truth is, Danny Danon had an interview with this, I think somebody from, maybe it was Sky News, I'm not sure what, and she kept saying to him, well, prove that you have to go in. Prove it. He says, well, when people walk around screaming death to Israel, we kind of believe them. And then when we find out they have 60%
Enrichment
enriched
of
uranium, kind of believe them. And if they're hiding it underground, he says to her, this was the end of the conversation. He says, explain this to me. You mean when we see the warheads flying into Israel, then it's time to do something? Then it's too late. We're not waiting for that.
It's like the
Look,
guy that jumped off a 50-floor building. He says, when he passed the 5th floor, everything was great.
Right. I made a social media post in this regard also. And I tried to make things super, super simple. One-liners, really, really condensed and concise to get the point across. And I said, you call it Islamophobia. I call it believing they mean it and not volunteering to find out. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want to find out. I don't want to find out if they mean
Right.
it. If you say it long enough and you say it loud enough, I don't want to find out what comes next.
All right, so how do you, as a resident, longtime resident, as an American, as a New Yorker, it's a good thing you got out of New York when you did, as a resident of the Judean Hills, as you describe it, how do you feel about the way American forces and Israeli forces are working together?
I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. The harmony and the symmetry that you see between the two of them. Trump and Bibi, in my eyes, have always had this like game that they've been playing, right? What they release, when they release it, what they say. We're not going. We are going. We'll never go. And then they go tomorrow.
Good cop, bad cop.
Good cop, bad cop all day. I mean, even this whole thing, who knows if it's true with Tucker, all these other things that they've been doing. I love the way it's going. I love the way it's going. I love that Israel has America's back, that America has Israel's back. And obviously, at the end of the day, it's God using all of us as pawns, but willing pawns in this regard.
I do have a question. So in Israel, what's going on with the leftists? How do they feel? I know how in our country, the crazies are going about, but in Israel?
The truth is, when you said the leftists, I started thinking in my head, when the last time I saw an article, something, they're as far as I know, that they've been quiet, meaning this is not a war that they oppose. Meaning, when, in my eyes, again, maybe I'm wrong, I haven't seen anything, but...
Yeah, I mean, they're not fighting to stop it.
As far as I know, not. I mean, if you look at October 7th, it was down south. If you look at Judea and Samaria, it's in Judea and Samaria.
Right.
Where is the number one target for missiles this war?
Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv. Everyone's like, it's happening here?
Tel Aviv,
okay.
Right.
Okay.
Why is that? Do they know what they're doing when they firing on Tel Aviv, or it's just a wild way of shooting?
I think they have. I mean, it's definitely a wild way of shooting, but they have a ballpark.
They realize Tel Aviv is an important place, so they just want. They don't know if the leftists are there or Haredi are there. They want to hit Tel Aviv.
If their goal is mass casualty, if their goal is inflicting fear, go towards the biggest city.
Right.
Right. So describe to me in the few minutes we have left. Describe to me how this has impacted on your family on a daily basis. What's the new routine?
Yeah, I mean, thank God my kids actually went back to school yesterday, 2 days ago. In our area, it was deemed that children could go back to school as long as there are mamadim or migunit in the school on the premises that the children can reach within under a minute. Thank God all of my children fall into that category, except obviously my 1-year-old baby who's not in school. So there's this sense of normalcy. They've gone back. Thank God there has not been any red alerts while they're in school since they went back, which has been a blessing. Last night, there was a couple at around 1 o'clock in the morning, 12:45, 1 o'clock in the morning. My children are definitely thrown off. They're sleeping in the bomb shelter, all of them together, which is my son's bedroom. But they're all sleeping in there together on mattresses because if something happens, I don't want to start moving 4 kids, at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, midnight. You'd start schlepping kids. And so they're all in there on the bomb shelter.
Right.
And that's kind of the new reality right now. No one knows when this is going to end. Is it going to go into Pesach? Is it going to end before Pesach? Is it going to go into Shavuot? Nobody knows. And this is just the new normal. I mean, I'm sitting here on my desk right now. Literally yesterday, I posted a video. I was sitting here doing work. All of a sudden, I hear a boom. And there wasn't a siren here. I look out the window, which is right here to my left, and a massive cloud in the sky of interception that happened far away. It wasn't here, but it was a clear day and you were able to see it far away.
You
So
see it.
So
that's
but there was no siren. You're saying?
not for that one, not by us. It was probably further out, maybe over Jerusalem or something like that.
So what do you what do you foresee? You don't know how long this is going to be dragging on, and I mean, how is the community overall reacting? You have
Again,
a shul there. You got a
yeah,
shul there. You
our
congregate.
shuls are acting normal where we are. I know even in Efrat, it's less so. They broke up minions to 50 people in each minion, as long as there's mamadim and things like that. I think that Bli Ayin Hara, Baruch Hashem, where we are, it has been relatively quiet. I mean, the country's at war. You feel it no matter what. There's a stress that exists in the country, regardless of if you're in Tel Aviv or the north or the south or the center or the left or the right. There's a stress that you feel. But Bli Ayin Hara, Baruch Hashem, here it's been relatively quiet. Yes, Tseva Adom. Yes, pre-alerts, but not more than that.
Statistically, so they say that the firing of the missile compared to the beginning of the war is down over 90%. So it must be down to a real minimum
100%.
compared to what it was a couple of weeks ago.
100%.
Or
Even during the 12-day war. Even during the 12-day war, there was
Now,
countless.
for people that recognize your name, it's because you were a very close friend of Sid Rosenberg's on WABC Radio. We hear you there all the time, and he speaks very highly of you all the time. And there's supposed to be in April, right after Pesach, there's supposed to be a Jewish news syndicate event where he's supposed to speak, amongst others. Is that still on schedule? What are you anticipating happening there?
I haven't heard that it was canceled yet. I would imagine that it's going to be difficult. I mean, they just canceled flights again today to and from certain destinations until a week or two from now. I know there's a lot of yeshiva kids in Israel hoping to get there for Pesach, and there's a lot of people there maybe interested in getting here for Pesach. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think Pesach is that next kind of milestone to see what happens, and then we'll figure it out from there.
You mean those El Al flights that were supposed to
They canceled from March 21st to 27th.
Run 6 a day are supposed to have stopped?
Not all over. Certain
Not
places.
all over. Certain destinations.
Like Fort Lauderdale and certain places in London and different areas.
Boston,
different areas stopped flying.
Right.
New York airports were not on the list.
Right.
So they're still flying to New York.
They are flying to
New York. New York is the center of the world, as you know. And
I
so
thought it was an old city in Jerusalem, but
that's true.
As long
maybe
as
the
center
of the world.
As long as they're flying to New York, they could find their way.
And you want them flying into Israel. We spoke to Jamie Geller last week, and she said, so far, there were no cancellations, that the Waldorf was sold out. And so
for
far,
Pesach. They have to
for
get
Pesach,
they have to get into the country.
they just have to get into the country.
Right. And people are still hoping they'll be able to. This is it's a historic and biblical time that we're living through. Being here, you feel it, you see it. It can change in a second.
It can change very quickly. Thanks very much for bringing us up to date. We'll get this posted probably later today. And we'll be in touch with you as time goes by. Thanks very much for joining us, Yehuda Honickman in Tekoa in Israel. And that's this week's version of Between the Lines, the electronic version of the 5 Towns Jewish Times. I'm Larry Gordon with Esther Gordon. Have a good day, everybody.